Play trading on this Sunday, July 18th, 2021. Let me start off by saying I am not a financial advisor. Anything that I say or mention is for educational purposes only. I may or may not hold some of the stocks that I mentioned. Please remember to do your own research. Trading stocks and options require lots of risk. So this is going to be a market overview for the start of that July 19th, 2021 week. So I want to start off by talking about market sentiment. And one of the things that I want traders that are listening right now is to keep an eye on the IWM, which is the small cap ETF. We talked about a bearish head and shoulders pattern, and that pattern is actually coming to fruition. So what I was looking at is a confirmation below that neckline. That first week, it didn't happen, but we closed and we ended up closing two consecutive closes below that neckline. Now, nothing is guaranteed in this market, but you have to understand that the balance of probability leans to a market pullback. So, with that said, traders or myself in general, I'm not going to get aggressive with this small cap market. If you notice, most of the stocks that I've been mentioning have been in the OTC. That's not to say that there hasn't been opportunity in the small caps. We saw a nice move on ticker symbol ANY. We saw ticker symbol SNMP, which I feel have upside potential, but for the most part, you're seeing a lot of stocks with low RSIs. A lot of stocks are breaking into new 52-week lows, and what we don't want to do is give a lot of our gains back. So two things that I'm going to keep an eye on this week. I want to look at that dollar, all right? And the ticker symbol that I follow as the gauge for the dollar is the UUP. So if I look at the UUP right now, we're trading above that 200-day moving average and the 8-day moving average. So that's extremely bullish for me, right? Bullish in the sense for the dollar. Whenever the dollar is strong, the markets will deflate. Okay, so right now we're in a bit of a cycle right now, a little bit of a deflationary cycle. So what we want to make sure is that we pay attention to the dollar. So that's number one. I want to make sure that I'm following the dollar. If I see a potential gap down on the dollar, that's going to change my mind, right? That's going to potentially change my mind. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to get overzealous with this market, okay? So the way I see it is if I'm going to get into this market, I want to start looking at stocks that I had or built a relationship with, right? So if I know how I trade, let's say ticker symbol BNGO, then I'm going to look at BNGO and I'm going to solidify a floor. But I'm not going to jump on every single stock. One of the things that you want to look for this week as well is follow the transports. So that's $sign TRAN. If I look at the transports, I want to make sure that this thing potentially gaps up or closes above that 8-day moving average. There's three markets that I look at for consecutive closes. What I mean is I want to make sure that each one of these markets, I want to make sure that these stocks, either one of them is trading above that 8-day moving average. Because if they all in sequence meaning all of them, trade below the 8-day moving average, it's going to lean the balance of probabilities to a correction in the market. Now, correction usually leads up to an 8% correction. Is this telling you, hey, there's going to be a market crash? No, I'm not saying that. We still, if you look at the weekly chart on the S&P and majority of the major markets, as far as the NASDAQ, the Qs, you're looking at the IWM, you're still in a bullish channel because you're still in an uptrend. The trend is your friend until the end. But if you see, okay, that the transports, $TRAN, if you see that $INDU, the Dow, if you see that the SPY, or if you use the SPX, is trading below the 8-day moving average consecutively, that's going to signal a balance, because remember, we trade probabilities, balance of probabilities for an 8 to 10% correction. All right, we're not talking about crashes here. Okay, what I am saying is that right now, based on what the IWM did, based on the transports, the SNP, and also the INDU trading somewhere at that 8-day moving average and balance of probability leaning for a close simultaneously all together, then I'm looking at the markets to be negative or neutral to negative, meaning neutral is unchanged to a negative. All right, so that's basically what I'm seeing. I'm going to talk about some small caps that I'm going to look for. These are opportunities for me. If I'm going longer term, let's say if I'm trading, let's say, or investing, or I have a high conviction, let's say if it's a stock like Palantir, which I like, I'm going to be cheap and I might add to my position. Right now, I'm looking at gold, right? So I like the GDX, I like the AUY, I like Hecla Mining, HL. So on pullbacks, since I'm going longer term on these, I'm going to look to go longer term on these. As far as swing trades, small caps, I'm going to make sure that I'm very loyal to my floors. I know that you guys have seen me call out stocks like ticker symbol PLX, RCON, DSS. And since these stocks have an RSI between 25 and 32, what I'm using is I'm using a 2-week consecutive close below the floor. Why am I doing this? Because I understand my risk, right? I can allocate a little bit more risk, but at the same time, how low will this go? Okay, because if we tend to have a bounce, if we start seeing that, the Fed starts buying everything, remember how they like to buy everything, and then the markets start popping, then I expect these stocks to have a nice reversal, and then we could lock on the way up. What I'm not going to do is just buy a bunch of small caps, all right? Because right now, what you don't want to be is overexposed. The small caps, you tend to wake up, and all of a sudden, you're down 5 to 10%. That's what happens with the small caps. And if you notice, the small caps right now are very, very speculative, meaning that there's a lot of groups that push a specific stock, and then before you know it, it's up 20, 30%, and then by the end of the day, it's down, to where it started. So one of the things, I don't like doing that. I know there's some traders that they like to jump and follow the money and jump on markets, and I just think that there's better opportunity for the OTC right now, okay? I don't want you guys to get pissed off. I will tell you some of the small caps that I'm looking at into next week, but overall, the IWM closed below that neckline on 2 consecutive closes. Shout out to Zero, because what I'm going to do after this, we're going to post this on YouTube, and I'm going to show you the charts of what I'm seeing. So hopefully we can get Zero to kind of edit this and put this up so you guys see the charts. So again, recap, I am following the dollar, which I'm going to show you the chart on the dollar. I want to, if we see a gap down on the dollar, if we see a gap down on the TLT, which is the 20-year treasury, I'm going to start saying, okay, we may have a reversal, right? I want to keep an eye on transports. I want to keep an eye on dollar sign INDU, which is the Dow, and the S&P, right? The SPY or the SPX. If all these three are trading below the 8-day moving average, it leans the balance of probability to more of a red market. I will post these. Again, shout out to Zero, at Zero. If you guys aren't following him, he's XEROE. He's a great follow. My recommendation is to follow him. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to add Hustle. I guess he's off vacation. I don't know if he's, in Puerto Rico, but I'm going to add him. I'm going to send him a request. Give it some time. I guess unmute your mic.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing? Everything good?
Good. It sounds like you have a little bit of a cold. No, you sound a little different. I guess that's what a vacation does to you, right?
No, well, I was in the pool all day long. Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing then, as long as you're in the pool.
Yeah, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah, so you got a chance to miss a lot of what was going on. What I was going over in the beginning was there was a lot of blood in the small caps.
Mm,
So what people have the tendency to do is to hold on to dear life, but they're not looking at signals. So
mm.
you actually took a break during the best time,
Yeah.
because a lot of these markets were opening up red. One of the stocks that kind of beat me up was a ticker symbol, and a lot of people think that I don't lose. I
Hmm.
actually locked some profits, but I had just in case shares. I remember shares. There's nothing free about free shares, all right? Because it
Mm.
really doesn't exist. It's money. So
Right.
I guess I don't know if there was an offering that was said, and then that thing opened up at $1 the very next day. So um, there was a lot of stocks that were kind of getting beaten down, right? And one of the things that I tell traders to do is just to keep an eye on the IWM. Of
Mm.
course, a lot of people get very emotional, and what do? They start unfollowing you because they think that you have to be a perfect trader, but it
Right.
comes with the territory, right?
Of
I
course.
had like close to 91,000, and by the week's end, I was down to about 90,800 or something like that.
Yeah, they get mad. They think you crashed it.
Yeah. But it's
Hmm.
fine. There is no right or wrong, right? There just is. You got to
There
learn from
just is.
experience. So the
There just
experience
is.
of understanding that what we're trading is balances of probabilities. They're not sure things. Just because you look at a chart, it doesn't mean that it's the holy grail.
Right, right. But we did start turning it around on Friday. Friday, well, the OTC. I'm not sure about the small caps because the only small cap I had was one of my favorites is TTOO tattoo.
Okay.
Deplane, yeah, that one. I like that one a lot. But that one did well. It still held the floor. So, but the OTC turned around on Friday to me.
The OTC was good, but I think a lot of people got scared because they sent out a memo. TD Ameritrade sent out a memo stating that they weren't going to trade certain stocks. So we have that date. I believe it's like the 18th or the 28th or something
Mm,
on stocks. And what it was, they sent out a memo, and then the very next day it was a fire sale. That
yeah,
fire sale ended up benefiting to some people because some people were able to trade these stocks cheap.
yeah, yeah. I know I did. I know I did. I had no fear of that. I mean, if a company is saying they're going to go current and they're tweeting that before the deadline, then I'm not worried about it. I knew that TD Ameritrade that was just protocol, maybe whatever they had to do to say it just to save themselves or whatnot. But I found out today that E Trade isn't even doing that. So I took advantage of the fire sale.
Right. So we had a stock, and like I always talk about, buy, set, and forget. It's not about me being right again. Sometimes stocks will just stay dormant. BTDG had 800%, kind of like I guess they said their revenues were, there was a forecast of 800% profits or something like that. That
Yeah.
stock rallied. I think we hit a high of 0.0115 from that
Hmm.
0.004 level. And then
Yeah.
somebody had dumped UCPA at 47. They
Mm.
sparked a buy, and next thing you know, that stock hit a high of 0.0135. But enough about stocks.
Yeah.
All right, because sometimes just talking about stocks just drives you nuts. How was the
Right.
vacation? How was Puerto Rico? How's
Oh
the weather
man,
out there?
it's
How are
beautiful.
people out there?
It's beautiful, man. I'm in Condado, in San Juan. It's a tourist spot. But I took the family to the Junque. It's called the Junque. It's a rainforest out here, and we did some zip lining and stuff. And I think tomorrow we're going out to Luquillo Beach. I mean, I heard the water is crystal blue, so I'm enjoying it. And as much as I like to be in front of the computer, I know you always tell me take a break and everything like that, but I miss it, man. I miss being in front of the computer doing what we do because you know to me it's not work. When you love what you do, it's not work. So I can't wait to get back in front of the computer. I'll be trading full time back on Tuesday morning, and I'm just enjoying Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's beautiful. I mean, people are beautiful, friendly, and I'm Puerto Rican myself, so I feel at home. Um, the water's beautiful. The weather, they've been saying that it's supposed to rain all week, but it hasn't rained. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I took my son, my daughter, and my wife, and they're happy. But they can't wait to get home already. I think a week is long, man. A week is long.
You know what it is that they're so used to the same.
You there? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
now
what
I can hear
happens
you.
is that they're so used to certain things, right? The same thing, and when they see change, they just want it back. When I tend to take vacation, if I go with, I try to get off the phone, and it's hard because you're just so used to it. So you kind of break the regular life,
Yeah,
and then
the regular routine.
the routine
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is this, and you start kind of like saying, "Shit," I want to go back to that. When in reality, it's a vacation. So sometimes you need a vacation from
Yeah.
the vacation. That's when they're like confused. So
I know. I'm
it's
gonna be
nuts.
tired when I
It's
get
nuts,
back
man.
home. I know. I know. What about you? You going on vacation soon?
Yeah. So I mean, look, listen. That. Well, I'm setting up a plan to go out, and I know people are gonna tell me that I'm nuts to go out
Mm-hmm.
to
Uh-huh.
where are we going now? I don't even know. Arizona. We're going to Arizona because I'm looking at some stuff over there. So I don't want to give it all away,
That's cool.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
try to kind of look at something different from New York, and so we'll see what happens. I don't want to jinx
Yeah.
it though, so we'll see what happens over there. But when that time comes, so one of the things that I do a lot on the
Mm-hmm.
weekends is I like to listen to things, and I like to listen air with NFTs. And whenever you don't understand the technology, people don't understand how big these things can be, because it just almost seems like you're buying air.
Right.
So I started thinking about it. So let me do a little bit of research on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and I started kind of like seeing what people mean by it, right? As far as what the blockchain
Yeah.
is. And during 2008, we had a huge debt crisis, which I think we are in now as well. So a lot of people, they like to buy stocks, but they don't understand how to kind of anticipate technologies. And one of the biggest problems in in the 2008 was the derivative problems, debt, right? Huge debts. You're talking about, massive loans on homes, and then people were buying homes and the loans from other banks, and you really didn't have a record of tracking.
Right.
But NFTs is that, right? It's a blockchain. It's a non-fungible token, but it's under a blockchain.
Right.
So when you're actually taking up these loans or you're doing these derivatives, now you can trace them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I see in this is it's going to change the whole kind of financial sector. It's going to change collectibles. It's going to change as far as art, music, movies. I mean, it's basically tapped into everything.
Nice.
So I'm really
Yeah.
excited looking at stocks as far as the blockchain and the crypto. That's why it's one of the spaces that I really like. And I made a video this weekend on ticker symbol APTY.
Yeah.
As I'm making the
You get
video,
excited.
I actually start getting
Yeah.
excited for
Yeah.
it, right? Because the potential is there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not me tooting my own horn,
Mm-hmm.
but I understand that we have an issue with fiat currency,
Right.
right? It's one of the most prehistoric things. It's losing value, throughout its years. And if you look at from the inception to where Bitcoin started to now, even with this pullback, you're still up annually,
Right.
up to 15% per annum, and the dollar isn't.
Right.
So why I say that is because what we want to make sure is that we safeguard our life, right? Our
Mm-hmm.
time. And a lot of people, what they have the tendency to do is not get prepared. And I was having like a mentorship class with a person today, and I told him, look, what if he asked me, what if the markets change? What if the OTC changes? What if the stock market will change? Eventually, it will. Eventually, there'll be a point where there is no way to or a market high anymore. We may go into a bear territory. Are we in one right now? No. But think about it. Can you imagine if, let's say, a person makes $750,000 trading stocks, right, from last year to now, and then they take 10% of that, right? 10% of that 750,000. Bitcoin pulls back to 21,000, and then they take 10% of that. That 750, they put 75,000, and then in 2026, Bitcoin's at 500,000 to $1 million.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Do you care what the OTC market? Do you care what the NASDAQ? Do you care what the IWM is doing? You don't.
That's what you told him.
Right. And he was like, oh shit, I didn't really think about that. So these are things that you have to pay close attention to. So part of the technologies that I want to look at is I want to look at technologies that are in the now. What's happening throughout the world, right? Global instability. Look what's happening in South Africa. Look what's happening in Hong Kong. Look what's happening in Cuba. There's a lot of political instability, right? So now there's going to be more violence. We looked at a ticker symbol DTII. We see the numbers. We see that they have contracts with FEMA. We see that they actually have a product for sale. You can actually go there, do it through PayPal, and purchase that product. So it's tangible. It's there. It's finite. And they put out a press release where they made an acquisition as far as who's going to resell their product, and they started putting these scanners, which are proprietary. They don't do X-rays. They're safe. They check for body temperature and they check for weapons, and now they're putting them for colleges. I know my daughter's getting ready to go to college. Do I feel safer with these things there? Well, I don't know. I really don't care, but that's the way the political system is heading to, right? So when you go into these basketball games, when you go into these arenas, that's what's happening. So I like the trade, right? And then when I look at the chart, oh shoot, it's in a demand area. I remember when the stock was trading at 0.016, and then the stock rallied to 7.5, 8 cents, right? So that's giving you 500 to 600 potential. But then people don't put together the math, right? They don't say 2 + 2 = 4. What they want to do is they want to follow the hype, right? And sometimes you got to do you just got to think, right? You got to use your intuition. So I guess today's topic will be that intuition, right? When you have that good feeling about that stock, APTY has that good feeling to it, right? We have issues with Tether, right? Stable coins, very uncertain, right? I think on Tuesday, Janet Yellen is going to have a meeting speaking about stable coins. What does that do? There's a problem with stable coins, right? So there's opportunity for the free market to come and take its course, right? Now there's competition.
And that happened real fast. I don't know how or why it happened so fast, but that meeting is Monday. So you gotta put 2 and 2 together. We anticipate, we don't wait to validate. So, that meeting popping off on Monday so fast like that tells you that, hey, stable coins is getting a lot of attention. So we're in the right stock at the right time, man. And I really feel like this meeting is to figure out how they can get on the stablecoin train. So let's see what happens on Monday. We might get some good news. So you never know. With that lady yelling, when they're saying that when she speaks, people listen. So let's see what she has to say.
Right, because when the Federal Reserve says something as far as raising interest rates, you see what it does to the market. So anything that, to me, it's a win-win situation. If Bitcoin goes down, you need stability in a stable coin, right? If they start saying that there's a void in stable coins, then you have these stable coins that could come out of nowhere and be, that beacon of light in the stable coin community. So I think that it's a win-win situation. I like the fact that we had a beautiful pullback. I think we hit a high of 0.0256. Stock caused a little bit fear. You know my take on that. You need that in a market. I always tell you, you need that capitulation. Whenever you start selling, get the weak hands out, and then stronger hands happen. That tells you that there's strength in the stock. And I told people, I said, look, keep an eye on that 0.0119 level. And then somebody had done a market order. Somebody bought the stock as low as 0.0108, and now it closed at 0.013. And I keep on telling people, it's not about looking at a chart as far as what the indicators are in that chart. What that chart is telling you, it's giving you emotions, right? It's giving you remorse. Now tell me, when you go into a store and you're going to go buy something, right? Let's say it's what's something that you love when you go to a store, man? I mean, as far as like clothing,
jewelry,
electronics.
Jewelry.
All right, jewelry. So let's say you go over there and you see a beautiful kind of diamond, ring that you really like a pinky ring, one that you can kiss every time you're about to have dinner, right? So if it's that one, right, and you see it for a marked down price, and then somebody's rushing you out of the store and you don't pick that up, you come back and you go to that same jeweler and it's not there anymore, right? And you're like, shit, I wish I would have got it, right? And now the next time you go in there, you saw that ring at, let's say, like about $2,000, and now you see it and now it's $5,000. You're gonna be pissed, right? I guarantee you that the next time you go in there and it's at 3,500, what are you gonna do?
It.
There you go.
Buying it all day.
And that's the free market, and that's what basically charts do, right? They're showing you remorse, and if you look, that thing bounced perfectly off that trend line, which it was, I believe, that 0.011 level, and then you had a high close of 0.013. Now I guarantee you, if anybody sees pullbacks this week, they'll rush to buy. And look, a little kind of I mean, I don't want to call it inside information. Oryx Gold. Shout out to Oryx Gold, which is their subsidiary. I think they paid them off. I think they got full ownership of them now. Did. They actually sent me a message, and I liked it. I like the fact that my video they got a hold of it, and they were like, "Hey, nice video." So they're watching what we're doing. They're watching our tweets, so they're watching.
And I like how they're updating too. I like how they're updating, and this lady, she's not, she's sharp. She's sharp. She has 17 years experience of trading, so she knows how to keep her stock moving in the right direction. There always has to be pullbacks, but if you look at the stock, it's in an uptrend, so she sees that.
Right. So I'm still bullish. I'm a contrarian. If you look at the fear and greed index, I think on Bitcoin right now it's at 19. Extreme fear. I love it. One of the things that I keep on saying, again, I was reading people's tweets where they're comparing and they're saying that NFTs make them cringe. And I say, man, if that makes you cringe and you're okay with the dollar being devalued per annum 20%, then you know what? I'll do you the favor of buying these crypto plays. And let me tell you guys, for you guys that are following me, I got a lot of nice plays setting up. I'm really excited with the stocks that we're kind of looking at. I like the direction that a lot of these OTC companies are doing. And another thing that I want to talk about is how the shift is just moving now, right? Low share structures, they didn't want to touch them before, right? And a lot of these low share structures, guys, start looking at your low share structure stocks, because we had a massive runner with CRSM. We had a massive run with HMNU. We had a massive run with Gamer, an NFT gaming stock that went from 0.02 to about 79 cents, I think it was. And now you're starting to see these low share structure 0.01 plays at bottoms start reversing. So watch your plays. If you saw ticker symbol RCIT, a stock that we were at buy, set, and forget, it was at 0.03, 0.04, and we ended up rallying on some filings out. And I expect that stock, it's a hydrogen stock, alternative energy stock. I expect it to continue its run. And CRSM, What an amazing move. We didn't even have to
I
tweet on
know,
that
I
thing.
know.
And those are the best
Yeah,
ones. When you don't have to tweet
yeah.
on these
They
things,
just
you know that there's strength in
yeah.
them.
And let
So,
me say this. Let me tell everybody. When we start getting into these low float stocks, okay, do yourself a favor, set up your sell orders because these things start skipping. You know, I like to say they start skipping, and I put that little gif with that guy throwing the rock on the water. Well, these things start to skip, and if you don't have your sell orders in, you're gonna mess up. You're gonna lose money. You're gonna tank the stock because then you're gonna get scared that you didn't lock profits. So do yourself a favor with these low float stocks. Set your sell orders up as soon as you get your shares. Set them up because then you'll be crying once it stops because they start skipping up, but they can start skipping down too. So have them up.
right. And another trick is just look at the charts and lay them over other charts, right? If you know that a stock like Gamer, right, a stock that's in the gaming sector, low share structure, start looking for stocks that are similar, right? In sympathy, that's what that's called.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of stocks, and you're gonna hear me talk about one, maybe within the next couple of days or maybe in the next kind of week on these spaces. But it's very important for you guys to understand to follow these market sentiments, right? Find the three reasons that you're buying these stocks, because a move from point zero 0.02 to 79 cents is a massive move. And right now that the market is extremely strong, you want to take advantage of that. And I think that people have the tendency not to. So I definitely would kind of start looking at your low share structure stocks, because now that people are going to start refraining from these stocks that have stop signs, I guarantee you they're going to start looking at pink current stocks, and they're going to start looking for clean, low share structures at floors, 200-day moving averages, 52-week lows, 8-day moving average. That's going to be the layout into the next couple of weeks.
I'm excited. That's exciting.
Yeah, I like it. I like it because it was much needed, because there was just too many bloated stocks just moving.
Yeah. Yep. What else? Um, Hold on. Let me get my phone.
Yeah.
Out of my phone charging.
How's the internet over there? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm actually using data, but I haven't had any problems. I actually had data in the rainforest. I was shocked, but yeah,
Wow.
but yeah,
It's the future.
yeah. I mean, even I can't. Phone technology is just crazy today, man. It's just
I
yeah.
bet. I bet, but that's why we want to invest in the future. And I think, like I said, Web 3.0, when everybody was talking about dial-up and the internet being bullshit, look what happened during the dot-com bubble. They scared everybody into selling their dot-com stocks like Amazon and Outlook. Yeah. If you would have just held on to your Amazon, you probably wouldn't even be listening to this call. Yeah. So these are things that we have to kind of understand, and that's why we do this, right? Yeah. So now that we got 20 minutes left, so let's jump in, and I'll put you on the spot.
Oh,
what's your three stocks? What's your three OTC stocks? If you want to do a small cap, but I know you only said top
yeah,
two.
I only got.
Is there anything that you're looking at right now?
Of course, I don't even have to say. Everybody knows that I'm rolling with number one APTY. That is just, it's an incredible story. The stablecoin news. I mean, it's almost, to me, it's like the number one in the OTC. I'm not gonna even lie. But the other one that I like is, of course, the DTII. We had a lot of corona virus news, so spiking. So California came out. Now you got to wear a mask even if you're vaccinated. Don't ask me. Don't ask me about that. But that's just crazy. So COVID-19 is back. So I'm rolling with DTII. You got the scanners for temperature. You got weapons for civil unrest. They just came out news, and I don't know if we mentioned it, but they also got a contract with South Carolina University. So
Right.
look for. I'm probably I'm thinking that they're going to get more contract with schools. That's going to open the door for them to get more contract with colleges. I know DD King was put out some patent news as well, and that they were also looking at getting. They were beta testing 9 different schools in Texas. So DTII, definitely, I'll be looking forward to that tomorrow. What's the last one? Let me see here. Let me look at my and I'm still with OTTV. Huh. OTTV has we're waiting on some news, maybe some updates with their they said they had a coin, a gold back crypto coin. So if they come out with an update with that, forget about it. I mean, we hit 0124 014, I think, without any updates. So think about when that gets a crypto update. And the streaming is crazy too. I mean, I don't really, my focus is on the crypto, but that streaming is putting in some numbers for them. So I really like OTTV. I'm long OTTV as well. Those are my three.
Right. So, I'll touch a little bit about that. I guess, I like all those three
Mm-hmm.
picks. The APTY, I put out a video so you guys know how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that if you look on the search box on Twitter, there's a big following on APTY, so it's going to have that flow as far as volume. And then for that DTII, you're right. In the last month, they put out 3 press releases. They're pink current, and their share structure is very, very favorable. If you look, the stock closed at its high of the day, breaking a downward trend. And the last time it did this, the stock rallied and hit 8 cents. So you're basically on Monday, as all you have to do is close above that 8-day moving average, and you're already confirming. The last time it threaded that 8-day moving average was to 8 cents. And you're right. They put out Defense Technology International expands its sales force, and that was in July 1st. Then they put out Defense Technologies passive portals now at Carolina
Yeah.
University, right? That was on July 7th, and now you have Defense Technologies expands its reseller network. So they picked up an acquisition for a seller, and this is actually a stock that people like too. I think the stock symbol is VXIT, and it has a big
Yeah.
following. So if they're looking at it,
Yeah.
it's going to be a good
Yeah.
flow in the
Yeah.
company. So shout out to that company
Yeah.
too, because I know a couple of people send me that chart, and that chart looks like it's in a
Yeah.
reversal. So now you talk about OTTV, and what I like about them is that they're kind of geared towards a market, right? And that's the Hispanic
Yeah.
community. If you look at what they did over the weekend, they actually gave the app for free,
Mm-hmm.
or they did some type of live event for
Mm-hmm.
free, and they let it stream for people to come on. Not only that is they're doing pay per view
Mm-hmm.
as low as I think $7 to put out,
Yeah.
matches in football, soccer, which has
Yeah.
a huge following out of Mexico and Latin
I
America.
think it's the biggest
So
following. I think soccer is the biggest sport worldwide. You have so many people. I mean, we think about America and whatnot, but dude, if you look at Europe and all over, the biggest sport is soccer. And
right,
and and some of the highest. I think some of the highest paid athletes are soccer players, but also the Latino uh, people love boxing, and boxing is always streamed now. Pay per view. The
right,
big fights are pay per view.
right.
So you got the Mexican fighters, you got the Puerto Rican fighters. It's just gonna be big, man. Canelo Alvarez is the biggest is the biggest, the high. I think he's the highest paid athlete, and he's a boxer. He's a Mexican boxer. So those who follow, that's big for OTTV.
Right. And then, if you look, it perfectly hit that 200-day moving average, bounced right off of it, off of the fear. I think we hit a low of 0.0061 and then bounced and closed above it. So anybody seeing that remorse, they're going to start looking to buy. It was mentioned to them, I think somebody had posted on their Twitter feed about, filings, and they said they're not even worried about it. So I like that. When a management is saying, "Hey, don't even worry about it. Just it's already done." They're on top of it. I feel that it's going to be a good risk reward. The last move it hit was 0.056, and you're buying it sub penny, and we know what it did in the past. So that's the type of risk that I like. I'm going to add another stock on top of this, which I'm probably not going to tweak. So this is kind of a gift for you guys. This is a stock that I feel is going to be a great long term. And why? Because it taps into two markets. You probably won't have me post on this. I think I've already mentioned it on a interview that I was on with BNGO. Shout out to Swing Pony. After this, make sure everybody on here goes over to that show.
Doubt.
I think she's going to have a special guest there. But I talked about LRSV. At the time, LRSV was trading like at 0.015. They just put out massive news. I think it went unheard of. It's link reservations, LRSV, to start accepting Bitcoin/crypto payments. So LRSV is in the psychedelics. They do both human and pets. So I feel like this one, especially with the low share structure, pink current, and perfect chart, it has the potential to hit anywhere. I think 9 cents, nine plus. So make sure that if you are getting into on this, again, I'm not going to be tweeting too much on this. I'm letting you guys know that I like this longer term, one of the best charts out there, and LRSV is going to be at the top of my list. I like how RCIT closed, but yeah, I like APTY, DTII, OTTV, special one LRSV, and the RCIT, which I feel that are going to be good ones. As far as like
small
caps, there is a stock that I'm looking at. As far as why I like it is because it was the strongest stock in the sector, in the small caps, even with a shit market. It was ticker symbol SNMP. We're seeing higher lows. You have support at the 8-day moving average. You don't have to chase it, especially if the market is red, but it's showing its strength. Okay, that's a stock that I kind of like moving forward. There are a lot of stocks that are threading, I guess you could say, the 200-day moving average. Look out for them. One of them that I look, if it kisses, is a genomic stock. We've traded it before. Is ticker symbol BNGO. Then I like on a pullback, ticker symbol GSM, if it kisses the 200-day moving average. But that's more or less what I'm looking at. And I told you guys that I am bullish on gold, AUY, and Hecla Mining, which is HL. So,
bro, what about oil? What about oil? What's going on with oil?
I like oil, but I just think that oil is very, very kind of like there's a lot of volatility in oil. If you look at stocks like CEI, they just couldn't find its footing. HUSA did well. It rallied and then it just pulls back. It's a trade that people if they're going to get in on it, they got to be prepared to lock profits. If they're not, if they're going longer term, it may, holding on to something, you could buy something, be up 15%, and then by the end of the day, you're back to where you started. So that's the type of kind of small cap that I'm kind of like feeling this next week. So I don't want to get too nutty with them. As far as the stock that I like longer term, okay, ticker symbol MLCO. It's a little bit of a pricier stock.
One?
But you're actually MLCO. This is Melco Resorts and Entertainment. It's a reopening stock. The stock right now, if you look at it, it's at $14. Very, very similar to that stock that I told you guys before. As far as Viacom, I'm gonna be looking at this. If this thing pulls back to about $12 to $14, going long on this bad boy shouldn't be a problem. Right now, RSI is in the 30s.
Ooh.
So if this thing kisses this level right here, what's this level right here? If this thing kisses down here at this a low of 1450, 1453 on the weekly chart, I'm going to start nibbling on ticker symbol MLCO. You could actually buy contracts. If you're going to go options, just take them out like far out. Take them down to, I would say, maybe take, I'm going to say expiration date about October 15th. I think those were the ones that I was looking at. And the entry price right now for October calls for a $17 strike, they're like at like 90 cents, 80 cents. So just be cheap. You could buy these contracts for 50 cents, 60 cents, hold them till October. Market, you remember what I said? I love, the Santa Claus rally, and I like the Halloween effect. I like the MLCO. So that's one that I'm kind of looking at, and I am still long Palantir. So that's all I have. So let's recap. APTY, extremely bullish, right? Stable coin. DTII, security stock, very, very bullish. This stock, I put it on the weekly watch list. If you guys don't know, we have a website there. And then I like that OTTV. I like that bounce. I bet you these guys are gonna put out a press release on what they did this weekend with that pay-per-view. Because remember, they put out that game, that soccer game, and then they did a live, and then they're waiting on that Viva banking. And then I would expect them to release filings this week.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
And then my sleeper, psychedelic. You know which one I like. I like
LRSV. Yep.
LRSV, because now they're accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment.
All right, you got me pumped, bro. I can't wait for this week.
Yo, I think we're gonna end it, man, because I think we're taking Swing Pony's time, man. So, I had a great time. Make sure that when you kind of get on these spaces, share the link so people can get a hold of it too. I think this will be put on YouTube, and just make sure that you follow the link and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell because it helps. I think we put out a couple of stocks that rally. If you would have had that notification, you would have gotten that video first and you would have been able to buy. There's also some tools in that information box for those people that are having so much trouble trading. There's actually some secret weapons in there if you want them. So it's all at your disposal. So that's all for this week. I think we went over a little bit of our time, an hour and a half. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.